Back deep for the Bucs, Deshaun Jackson. And just a single punt for him in the loss last week as he sends this one away. Pulled in at the 24. Fish. Winston and the Bucs take over now, 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line.
Ready, blue lady. Follow.
Off the play fake, Winston. A hit as he throws there, incomplete.
Pressure, and that's certainly going to be a key to this game going forward. And that time, they were able to get in there and influence the throw. And remember, quarterbacks got to get rid of it. They don't have the Tucker rule that they can fall back on anymore.
So line of scrimmage, still the 39 on 2nd and 10.
Ready, blue lady. Watch 8, watch 8. Where do we go?
On 2nd down, Winston again. Airing this one out for Evans. And he's unable to grab it. Thought he might have had position, couldn't hold on, 3rd down.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has them staring at a 3rd and 10.
Ready, blue lady. Here we go, even. Green, trouble C.
Jameis to throw it. The Colts are going to get him. Down he goes. Well, let's see here, Charles. He was sacked 6 times last week. Now a first-quarter sack. What's going on in his mind?
Well, he's thinking to himself, 5 offensive linemen. I got sacked 6 times last week. Let's start thinking about keeping extra people in. Tight end stays in. If I have a fullback or the running back, they stay in and help me block. Maybe not as many receivers in a pattern. Anything to try and slow down that pass rush.
He steps into this one, and this is a rocket. And that'll hit in the end zone. Much too much leg there. That'll be a touchback. The Colts offensive unit ready to see what they can do here. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. Throwing the out route, incomplete. It's Doyle. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. The drive starting with a first down, 11 yards on that pickup.
I know I spend a lot of time talking about how tight ends in a lot of cases now are pumped up wide receivers, but they're still big people. He used that frame right there to absorb a really big hit on him and held on to the ball.
On 1st and 10, Locke. He's going to air one out. Oh, this is taken in. It's complete. An excellent pickup of 34 yards.
You know I'm going to lean towards the defender, right? You know I'm going to do that.
I know.
That's a tough situation for him as I see it. But the truth of the matter is, that ball was not streaking towards him. Had a little arc on it. He's got to find a way to get his head around and make the play on the football.
And that play went nowhere. Losing yardage. It'll be back at the 36. It'll be a loss of 1, and it'll be 2nd and 11. Back to throw. Love. Open man is Darius Fountain. And he's got this down almost to the 20 before he's dropped. His first catch, good for 16 and a first.
You can see the time and effort and thought that they put into their passing game because it was evident right there. It looks like a simple pitch and catch, but you and I both know that they have planned for this and worked hard to make it.
And he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. Marcus Golden in there to drop him, and it'll be a loss of about 8.
Well, the pass rush has been a real strength of late. They know how to get after the quarterback.
Absolutely. 4 sacks last week. That's their first one here. Anything in particular you've seen from them or on film?
I think that they're winning athletically up front, winning those one-on-one battles, but also when the offensive line wants to keep everyone in and mass protect, they know how to scheme their way back to the quarterback as well. But it's tough to be a defender in today's NFL because there's so many things to account for in today's passing game, including the back sneaking out of the backfield. Not quite as bad as a turkey bowl where you have that center-eligible stuff, but still a lot of guys to account for.
Here's Lott. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked up by M.J. Stewart. And a terrific return as he'll take it up past the 35. If you combine last week and this week, he's got a hat trick going because he had 2 interceptions a week ago.
He's seeing the ball so well and understanding where receivers are and positioning. I mean, just watching him work with such great technique and paying it off by actually catching the ball when he has a chance, he's helping his team in a huge way.
Winston and the Bucs take over now, 1st and 10 at their 36-yard line. Following the interception, Winston. And he'll bring it up here to right at the 40-yard line. 4 yards on the dump-off at 2nd down.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
Easy. My 50.
And now whistles and a flag, and I think we got a jump here. So they jumped on the left side of that line.
And you know when you're at the end spot, you are like in the starting blocks, waiting for the pistol to fire and go, and he jumped a little bit too early.
So after the penalty, now they need just a yard on 2nd down. They'll pitch it out to Jones. And taking it across midfield and just shy of the 40. A good gain of 14 there, and it moves to James.
And that's a run that'll energize an offensive line. They'll take that one all day long. Fundamental breakdown by the defense. You've got to be able to make plays on the edge.
And they'll keep on the ground with Jones. Jones breaking from the contact. And he gets it down a yard or 2 shy of the 30 before he's out of bounds. 9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1. Now a 2nd down throw for Winston. And he's going to drop this off to his fullback. And they move this all the way down to the 9. 23 yards on the play.
Now that's often a surprise for the defensive guys when they see the big fella slide out of the backfield and catch the ball. Not something they usually go over in practice very often.
First time into the red zone for the Buccaneers. They're looking at a 1st and goal from about the 9. From the gun, Winston. He'll hit Whitaker in the flat. And he's into the end zone for a Tampa Bay touchdown. Fozzie Whitaker, his second touchdown on the season. And the Bucs have taken a first-quarter lead. Forbath, the extra point, and that makes the score 7-0. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Here comes the Indianapolis offense now as they get set to take over. And this is a unit that, to be frank, doesn't look like they've woken up yet. I mean, a punt and a turnover on their first two drives.
And I think the game's starting to take shape a little bit now. And I'm going to take it into the basketball world. When you're having trouble scoring and moving the ball in basketball, what do? Get it to their best player, right? Find a matchup, create it, exploit it, and try and move the football.
A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's second down.
An interesting and intriguing decision there defensively because they kept extra DBs on the field despite seeing the multiple tight end look that came out for the offense.
I thought they were going to switch out of it. I didn't know if they felt they didn't have time or what the case was.
Well, in any event, the extra on a scrimmage.
Back with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. The Colts in possession of the football to begin quarter number 2. But they face a second and long to start things out. A shotgun snap for Locke. Ebron caught left side. And this one will go to the 28-yard line. The reception good for 7. It's third down. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he's unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
Throwing on third down, Locke. And this is going to be incomplete.
Didn't have a receiver open downfield, and as it turned out, couldn't even find his outlet man because of the coverage. It was way too tight, unable to find anyone open.
Now here's Rigoberto Sanchez as he'll punt it away for the second time. And this is away. It's a high kick, and he got all of it. And that'll hit at the 5 and go into the end zone for a touchback. Now the Buccaneer offense set to take over again. A good balance attack for that last touchdown drive they had. Now it's time to see if they can do that again.
And it really becomes a tale of two play callers, doesn't it? The offensive guy, he's in sync. Everything's working pretty well. For the defensive
guy, what's going on the defensive side?
That's a tough one because he's prepped all week as well, and he can't get a bead on exactly what they're doing right now. What he needs is one of his guys just to make a big play and disrupt things.
On 1st and 10, Winston. And that is incomplete.
All right, that one fell incomplete there, but the best quarterbacks, they'll miss on 40% of their throws, somewhere in that neighborhood, similar to a great hitter in baseball who's going to fail 7 out of 10 times and still have a great year. In this case, you want perfection, but way better that it hits the ground instead of going to an opposite color jersey.
Now flags will come in. I think this one's going to be on the defense for jumping. So a jump there defensively.
And it's a killer. Watch the football. Don't move across the line of scrimmage until the ball moves.
So the penalty certainly helps them out as they come up on 2nd and 5.
5 on the 50. 5 on the 50.
Now Winston. Airing this one out for Evans. And got his man complete. And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. They give him a gain of 38. So how about that for a chain mover? They're all the way down inside the 40 now for 1st and 10.